We haven't got the clapperboard in the car.
We're stuck in traffic.
Yeah. I decided that this was a sensible way to come, ignoring Waze, and it turns out really not a very sensible way to come. Normally it's faster. When I come this way, normally it's faster, but not today. By quite a considerable margin.
I normally stick with Waze because it's got all the user traffic on there.
Yes,
and
yes.
Mark said, "I'll go this way."
Yeah, hey ho.
Right.
Oh well, never mind, eh?
Yeah, we're back in the car.
There's some roadworks that I didn't know were here. Oh, okay, fair enough, fair enough. So we thought, as we're travelling, we would do a Grumpy Old Gays episode all about travel, because I've been doing a bit of airline travel over the last week or so.
And although we're in the car, we're only going for lunch.
Oh yeah,
we're not going somewhere like on holiday or anything.
Although we are going somewhere we've never been before, so that's good.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the potholes down this road also have been absolutely terrible.
For a four-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, my car doesn't feel like this. It must be your suspension. And it isn't my suspension.
Hello, everyone.
Ah, dear, oh dear. So, I'm going to retell that story that I did on a short in case nobody watched the short. So I was in the queue at Birmingham Airport, and that was traumatic enough as it is. And there were about 400 people in the queue to go to security. And this gossipy couple of women were standing behind me. I don't have a problem with that per se. But she kept bumping into me with her bag. So I've got my bag on my shoulder, and she is just one pace too close to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So every time I move forward, she then bumps into my bag.
Yeah.
And I must have turned around like this and caught her eye a couple of times.
The British stare.
Like, yeah, absolutely. The Paddington stare, the hard stare.
The Paddington stare.
But she didn't get the hint. And if she did it once, she must have done it 15 or 20 times. And it's like,
people do it with trolleys in supermarkets.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. And you're like, really? Can you not see that I'm stood in front of you?
I had a person in front of me. I wasn't bumping into him.
Yeah.
Like I managed to stay a pace behind. Why you can't manage to stay a pace behind is beyond me.
Sometimes it's either entitlement or just completely
this wasn't entitlement.
Yeah.
This is complete oblivious to everything going on around them. It's just so annoying. Well, a bit like sitting here in this little lay-by. They're not going to let you out, Mark, because you've got a car in front of you.
No, I know.
He's just a twonk, so he's not going to go. But you can't go until he goes. But he's not going to push in. He's not going to try.
Making good content.
I mean, this is. Us having an argument about it is.
Can I go left here instead?
No, you can't. We go in that way. I hadn't realised that they've put a bit of resurfacing down that road. So there we go. Oh, finally he's pushing out.
Finally
that's
he's
good.
edging out. Yeah.
But watch the lorry. Don't crash into the lorry.
Yeah, I won't.
Because that would be bad. Ooh, he's letting you go. Now you can be calmer with it. It's all good. So
we've probably lost about 500 viewers in that last 2 minutes. So
see, you don't think that's good. I think that's all good content.
Okay.
People, us arguing, being grumpy about not being able to get out. That's exactly what this podcast is, for Christ's sake. Also on the aeroplane, flying EasyJet, so it was shit. You know, that face.
Just the word EasyJet just sends shivers down my spine.
Oh yeah.
Right, Ryanair is another one.
Ryanair. Well, the thing is, you've just got to pay for everything. Fortunately, on the way out,
it's not just the pay. I don't mind paying for everything. It's the whole service that their entitlement towards you. That's my anyway. Yeah.
Yes. So, the announcement on the aeroplane has changed. You know, it always used to be Phil Gale from The Big Breakfast.
Yeah.
Doing the EasyJet announcements. They've done something quite clever, and obviously I listen out because I'm a voiceover artist the rest of the time. And so I listen out to I don't know whose voice it is, but it's a young guy with kind of a little bit of an estuary accent, which is good, but it's okay. But he's basically, you're going the right way.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll tell you if you're going the right way. He's basically doing the announcements quite nicely, but he can't pronounce his THs.
I can't say fairer than that.
So it's like,
sorry.
It's
think about it.
Yes. It's thanks for flying with EasyJet.
Yeah.
Thanks for flying with EasyJet.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, just no, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I quite like what they've done in terms of trying to make it street cred. for those for those middle class passengers on EasyJet, I don't mind it, but for the other people who would get put off by someone talking posh, they've gone the other way with that, and I think that's quite clever, to be honest.
Yeah. I think the whole pushing people and there's nobody else in the queue behind you, pardon me, in front of you, is a common thing. I think it's common in supermarkets, it's common in airports, it's common at check-ins, it's common.
Oh, you've gone back to that now.
Yeah, but it's really common. It's just this complete unawareness of anyone else around you.
Yes.
So I think is that your worst thing that's ever happened travelling though?
No, I mean it's like.
I think the worst thing I ever saw experience was, I was talking to somebody. Funny enough, I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. Was Saudi Arabia, and going to Saudi Arabia to work for a month, and
I bet you had to have a big suitcase if you're going out to work.
Yeah, well, it was business class, so you could have 3 big suitcases. But
just drop that one and clang.
But it was getting there was absolutely fine. Coming out of the aeroplane and going through the first set of security, it was. I'm really sorry. This is the only way I can describe it.
Don't take your hands off the wheel.
It was like Schindler's List. It was like we were queuing up to have our tattoos.
Yes.
It was very, very strict.
That's awful.
It was.
And a horrible way of describing it as well.
But that's how it felt. And you're like in this queue thinking, what is going on? There's like 2,000 people here.
Yeah.
And 3 desks and no queue. Just everyone's piling forward like as if they're waiting for the king to come out on the balcony.
Right.
And of course I'm thinking, why is this taking... They were searching bags and hand luggage.
For what?
Why are they searching? I eventually found somebody that spoke English and they went, alcohol.
Oh?
They're looking for alcohol.
But can they not do that through security?
No, because they will cart you away, literally put you back on the plane or cart you. That's taking that seriously in Saudi Arabia.
Apart from in the hotels?
No, even in the hotels, I couldn't get alcohol. I could in Dubai, could in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
But business, no, absolutely not. And they were literally, and I thought to myself, oh my lord, literally just a few hours earlier, I could have been buying alcohol. I saw that vodka and thought, well, that's a bargain, I should get that.
Right.
I would have been carted away. I'd have been carted away.
You might have liked being carted away. It's if they chop your hands off, then you've got to worry about it.
In Saudi Arabia, gay people are not tolerated.
Well, no, indeed.
I could have been stoned
You absolutely could have been, and you've told the grinder story before.
I've told that,
which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Go back to a previous episode if you haven't seen that, because that's quite an amusing one. Which is your worst form of travel, do you think? Bikes, cars, planes, boats, what?
So I have a bike, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
I have a car, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't mind buses. The very few times I have to be on them. I don't mind
Poor people's taxis.
Poor people's taxis. I don't mind trains. My worst is trains in rush hour. I think it's
anything in rush hour. I mean, motorways in rush hour are complete nuisance.
I'm right in the car. I'm right on the bus in rush hour. But this whole concept that there's 45 seats in a carriage, but we can fit 150 in that whole concept of you can stand. It just wouldn't happen on an aeroplane.
No, you can't. No, exactly right.
So why do we allow it? Put more trains on.
Yeah.
Put more longer carriages in. Why you just
money? There was something on the radio the other day about of 100 people, at least 30 people aren't paying the fare anymore.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like jumping through barriers or just not paying for their tickets.
You've only got to stand at any underground station or bus stop and count them, literally count them. And I guess it's getting like, the other thing on the news quite recently is about the amount of shoplifting and people just walking into Greggs and walking out and nobody's going to stop them.
Yeah. Because of the security guards saying it's health and safety. Yeah. What was interesting about the fare dodging story was that Bobby Jenrick, the Tory, stopped someone. Now, that's a completely codded up story. They fixed that. That's just to make the news agenda so that he can promote himself.
Oh,
I think he's he's a candidate throbber for shoving Kemi out of place.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But it was a real codded up story. It's like,
it will
way.
It will be a PR
totally.
Because he will have approached.
He took a cameraman with him, for God's sake.
Absolutely. But he would have approached people real.
Yes.
But there would have been a security person behind the camera,
Yeah,
so if he ever got punched.
Totally. And it would have been a better story if he had got punched.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
Never punch a Tory. Never kiss a Tory. That's the thing.
My best experience was actually on BA, business class.
Yes.
And I flew. I think it was coming back from India, and I think the flight was something like 13 grand. The company were paying 13 grand to fly me from back. Anyway, I genuinely don't drink an awful lot of alcohol.
No, you don't. No. Not as much as me.
So people always think it's a waste of money putting me in business class because all I drink is coffee. It's like,
it's about comfort. It's not about alcohol.
Yeah, no, it's about comfort and all the freebies that you get with it. Yeah. And I can remember getting on this flight, and it had been a long, long day. It was a night flight back to London. Yeah. And when you travel, the days of business and first class people travelling in suits and
completely. They're still in their pajamas, aren't they?
So you get on the plane, and I'm there in my literally stained t-shirt and
nice.
tatty jeans, and of course they're looking at you as if to go, you're in the wrong. You're in the wrong.
Yeah.
So they stop you at the check-in to go. Check-in's no business class.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You remember Little Britain where the woman was working in first class? No, we don't want you in here.
When I came back from Glasgow last week, there were some very attractive guys in their 20s, all in kind of romper suit stuff. And I think they were going on a stag weekend, I think. But they were all in like romper suits, and it looked really cute.
Wonderful.
But I thought that was quite a clever way to travel, actually.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I could tell they were on a stag weekend because they all had golf clubs with them.
Anyway, I got on this flight and I was exhausted by the time I got on this flight because I'd worked all day long, and I had to work the following day when I got back, so I literally had to sleep. But I wasn't tired. And I had so many things to anyway, so I got on the plane, and the first thing they do in business class is they take you to your seat by name. And say, is there anything we can get you whilst we wait for economy to get on board?
Whilst we wait for your wife.
Whilst we wait. And I said, can we get you some champagne or some? And I went, do you know what I really want? I want a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And you don't need to ask if I want another cup of coffee. Just keep bringing the coffee.
Well, no wonder you couldn't sleep on the aeroplane.
Well, no. What I mean is I had to stay awake because I was so exhausted, but I had to stay awake because I had to work. Yeah. That's the thing about business.
Yeah.
So they kept the coffee coming in, and then in the last 4 hours of the flight, I thought, right, I better get my head down. But I drank so much coffee.
You couldn't sleep.
I couldn't sleep. So I then sat there watching some movies.
Oh, that's quite
and because
funny.
I was the only person awake, every time the stewards were walking past, they
winked at you.
They were giving me the eye.
Yeah,
they would just say, are you okay? Do you want any more coffee? Do you want anything to drink? And I went, no, I'm all right now. I've finished my work. I can just relax for a few hours. And if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. And at the end of the flight, and this is what made it the best flight ever, at the end of the flight, the attendant came up to me and said, you haven't drunk anything in business class the entire flight. Here's a bottle of champagne.
Huh?
And I went, what for? And he said, well, because
you would have drunk it anyway.
You would have drunk that amount. Most business class milk the alcohol. And you've had nothing because you've been working. Take it home.
Nice.
And I thought, oh my God, how amazing is that? So I did. I sold it. I took home this bottle of champagne.
Have you
I was
ever been
very
upgraded? To business or first?
No, never. I've always paid. It's always been paid for.
I've been upgraded to business twice and first once. And first was, oh God, what it? I want to say Pan Am, but it wasn't. It was the one straight after. It was to America, and I was travelling alone, and I'd done the thing where I dressed in a suit and took a briefcase as my hand luggage. There was nothing in the briefcase. I wasn't working.
Just the sandwiches.
But they upgraded me to first class, and it was the most incredible experience. It's like,
that's nice.
I know.
That's nice.
It was like, as you say, everything being brought to you. But it was interesting because there were 5 other people in first class.
There's not many first class seats.
No. I mean, this was 25 years ago, 30 years ago maybe. So I was in my mid-20s when I didn't look as crappy as I do now, and and that was amazing. But the business class upgrades were nice too. But do you know the guaranteed way of not getting an upgrade?
Not getting an upgrade.
Not getting an upgrade.
It's
asking for an upgrade. That's the guaranteed way of not getting one.
Yeah.
Most of the companies won't do it anymore because they realise that
people are doing it.
Well, no. But most of the companies aren't doing upgrades because why are you going to give them that amount of extra care and money?
Absolutely. Yeah. What are we getting? Unless the flight is full,
exactly right,
and we've overbooked, and there's no benefit to it,
which is sad.
I think the staff's families and the staff get a lot of upgrades.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Yeah,
exactly. Friends and family.
We'd love to hear your nightmare
and your upgrade stories.
And your upgrade stories, yeah.
And your Mile High Club stories.
You took words out of my mouth.
I want to hear them. You heard my Mile High Club story a few weeks ago, so I want to hear that too. Good. Well, that's our time, I think.
Yeah, we're nearly there. We'll have some lunch. And
Top banana.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.